A strange woman lives next door to me. She sneaks in and out of adult stores at night and stares blankly at the little balloons on convenience store shelves. She even had her intimate clothing delivered to my place by mistake. For a while, I thought she was sexually experienced. Then, on the first day of school, I discovered the teacher standing at the podium was that strange neighbor of mine. Thankfully, she had not noticed me yet. She lightly tapped the desk and slowly began to speak. Let me introduce myself. My name is Mi Cai. Technically, I am your upperclassman and your temporary class advisor this semester. Her gaze swept around the room. Then her pupils suddenly narrowed. She had spotted a familiar face. Wasn't this the neighbor she always ran into whenever she bought toys? Mi Cai's hand trembled slightly around the class list. Oh no, why do I run into him everywhere? And now he is my student. Steadying herself, she said, let's take attendance first. We can get to know each other while we do. I am not usually strict, so there is no need to be nervous. Mi Cai called my name from the list. I raised my hand. The moment I looked up, our eyes met. I calmly looked away, pretending nothing had happened. The first day of school was really just a formality. After all, we were college students. There was not much to fuss over. Once she finished the formalities, she let out a breath. All right, everyone, you are dismissed. That concludes today's class meeting. Then she glanced at me. Mo, wait a moment. Everyone still in the classroom looked at, then turned their eyes to Mi Cai, the campus beauty who had been trying to ask me to lunch. Ruyan looked at me and quietly asked, do you two know each other? I did not answer her. Instead, I looked at Mi Cai across the room. Standing at the podium, she gave a soft cough. Mo, you are the only student in the class who does not live on campus. Come to my office for a moment. I need to understand your situation. After saying that, she gave herself full marks in her heart. What a perfect excuse. I was relieved too. I had been worrying about how to turn Ruyan down. Ruyan had just invited me to lunch. I quickly told her, sorry, I can't. My teacher called for me. I do not even know when I will be done. With that, I followed Mi Cai out of the classroom. When we reached the office, Mi Cai sat behind her desk, watching me walk in. She pointed at the door, telling me to close it. I stopped by the door, hesitation on my face. Teacher, is it really proper for us to be alone together? Her eyes widened as she gritted her teeth and lowered her voice. Do you think I am that kind of? I am not. Ugh, forget it. Irritated, she walked over herself and shut the office door. I am not that kind of person. I bought those things because. Mi Cai tried to explain, but halfway through, she got stuck. Watching her face grow redder, I sighed softly. It is perfectly normal, really. Teachers are normal people too. There is nothing wrong with that. Mi Cai's calm expression completely shattered. She stomped her feet several times. No, those things I bought were not for me to use. Her puffed up anger was kind of adorable. Anyway, what happened before was a misunderstanding. Do not bring it up again, and do not tell anyone. I nodded. Understood, teacher. I will not say anything. Is that all? Can I leave now? Mi Cai nodded rather stiffly. Then she watched me turn and leave without looking back. She replayed the exchange between us, feeling that something was off. Did he misunderstand something? After leaving the office, I checked the time. It was nearly lunchtime. I went into the supermarket downstairs from my apartment, planning to buy ingredients and cook. Just then, my phone chimed with a new friend request. It said Mi Cai. I froze for a moment, then accepted it. She did not send a message, and I did not message her either. Still, I could not stop myself from tapping her profile picture. It was an adorable kitten. When I turned around, I saw Mi Cai checking out. I looked at the bag in her hand, stuffed full of condoms. My expression became a little awkward. At that moment, she looked up too. For a moment, neither of us knew what expression to wear. Teacher, the moment I spoke, Mi Cai cut me off. These really are not for my own use. Do not get the wrong idea. As she spoke, she glanced at my cart, as if she had found a lifeline. You even know how to cook. Her tone sounded quite natural, but Mi Cai's heart was racing. Seeing her like that, I felt relieved instead. Yes, I can cook. I took out my phone to pay. Mi Cai immediately spotted her profile picture on my screen. I froze. She froze too, then covered her face and ran off. The air was thick with awkwardness. I looked down at my phone, picked up my groceries, and left. A week passed like that. In class, everyone was discussing the basketball tournament. After filling out a registration form myself, I left the classroom. The moment I stepped outside, I heard a girl call my name behind me. I looked at the girl before me and sighed. Of course, it was Ruyan. She hurried over and handed me a bottle of yogurt. I waved it off and pushed it back to her. She stared into my eyes and suddenly said, "You can tell that I like you, right?" I exhaled, helplessness written all over my face. What was bound to happen had finally happened. "Then you should be able to tell that I do not want a relationship." Ryan's eyes were still red-rimmed. "Why? Did I do something wrong?" "No. It is just that liking someone comes down to chemistry. Do not overthink it." Meanwhile, on the other side of the stairwell corner, Mi Cai stood there awkwardly. She had already been there, on her way to check on the classroom. Her shoelace had come undone, and she happened to witness this scene, so she simply listened in from hiding. "Do you not like girls like me? I can change my style. Whatever you want." Ruyan looked at me, tears streaking her lovely face. Inside, I was losing my mind. "It is not about your style. Everyone has their own preferences. You are not my type." I sighed. "Then, what type do you like?" Ruyan clearly would not let it go. Mi Cai had not meant to eavesdrop from around the corner, but this was really exciting. I looked at the relatively petite Ruyan before me. I opened my mouth and said, "I like long legs." Ruyan froze. Mi Cai froze too. Both women looked at their own legs at once. Tears immediately fell from Ruyan's eyes. Mi Cai thought for a moment and looked down at her legs. "Thankfully, mine are fairly long." Then she shook her head. "What is wrong with me? What does this have to do with me?" Meanwhile, Ruyan kept going. "You like women like Teacher Me Too, right? Long legs, a slim waist, a big chest, and a pretty face." The words poured out in a rush, without giving me any chance to interrupt. With that, she covered her face and ran away crying. Mi Cai, on the other hand, could not resist touching her waist. She glanced at her chest and smiled in satisfaction. I breathed a sigh of relief. Then I looked toward the other side of the stairwell corner. I had noticed someone there earlier. I walked straight over. There stood Mi Cai, her face completely flushed. Teacher. I spoke hesitantly. "Just now, I did not mean to. If I said I was just tying my shoelace here, would you believe me?" Mi Cai cut me off. I sighed. "I believe you. Just do not take what I said earlier seriously." Mi Cai frowned. A bold idea came to her. I was the one embarrassed before. This time, it is your turn. Suddenly, she leaned her face close to mine. Her eyes gleamed with teasing amusement. "Do you mean the part about liking long legs, or the part where you admitted you like me?" A delicate fragrance washed over me. I took a small step back, looking at her beautiful face so close to mine. My Adam's apple bobbed uncontrollably. I quickly looked away. "Teacher, please show some restraint. What I said earlier was only because." Ruyan kept pressing me. Seeing how embarrassed I was, Mi Cai secretly reveled in it and raised an eyebrow. "I thought you meant it." As she spoke, she extended her leg before me. Her voice was deliberately curious. "Are my legs not long enough? Do you like them? Want to play with them?" I looked at her gorgeous legs and swallowed. "Or is my waist not slim enough?" Her voice held a hint of frustration. "Teacher, I do not think I can take this." My voice grew slightly louder. "I am sorry. I did not know you were here earlier. I meant no offense, but I truly did not mean it that way." I lowered my head, my face red to the tips of my ears. Mi Cai looked at me, feeling somewhat satisfied. She leaned close again. From this position, all I had to do was lower my head to kiss her. I watched her soft pink lips move. Then she suddenly pulled back. She looked at me with a mischievous grin. "Now we are even. Do not bring up what happened before, and I will not mention you saying you like me this time, deal?" For a moment, I was completely confused. I stared blankly at Mi Cai. Before I could react, she answered for me. "It is a deal, then. Goodbye, Yunmo." She turned, smiled at me, and walked away humming. I watched her slowly descend the stairs. A young woman's thoughts really are hard to read. I rubbed my nose, then headed straight back to my apartment. As I lay on the couch, I suddenly heard a knock at the door. A delivery had arrived. Judging by the weight, the clothes I ordered must have arrived. After opening it, I stared silently at what I was holding. They were clothes, all right. A very sexy set of women's lingerie. It even came with fox ears and a tail. Awkwardly, I picked up the delivery box. It read, Building 8, Apartment 808B. Recipient, Mimi loves snacks. Great. It belonged to the neighbor across the hall. Awkward as it was, I still had to return their misdelivered package. In the end, I went out carrying the package and a bag of fruit. There was also an apology note in the bag. Mostly, I hoped my neighbor would not be home, so I could just leave the package at the door. Unfortunately, the moment I knocked, I heard footsteps inside. A soft female voice called out, "Coming." I stood there at the door, completely stunned. A beautiful young girl's face appeared in the doorway. Her features were delicate. She had lovely almond-shaped eyes and a petite nose, with small, slightly parted lips beneath. But her face was filled with panic. I looked at the girl before me, feeling awkward. Mi Cai was frozen in utter embarrassment. She had thought it was the delivery driver. Why was it him? The atmosphere became awkward for a moment. Unable to bear it any longer, Mi Cai spoke softly. "Hello. What do you need?" Awkwardly, I lifted the bag in my hand. Your delivery was sent to my place." Mi Cai reached out and took the bag from me. She felt slightly relieved. I fell silent for a moment. I hesitated over whether to tell her that I had already opened it. It was something quite private. Saying so would be far too embarrassing. Mi Cai saw that I was still standing in the doorway. She gave me a hesitant look, then asked, "Would you like to come in and sit for a while?" Just as I was thinking of how to decline, a soft meow sounded. A little cat slowly wandered out from inside. It meowed at me again. Mi Cai looked down at the cat by her feet in surprise. "Egg Yolk seems to really like you." I looked at the fluffy cat, which seemed so soft to pet, and I was tempted. "Come in. It is rare for him to like a man this much." As she spoke, Mi Cai crouched down and scooped up the cat with one hand. She stepped into the apartment. I followed her inside. Mi Cai took the fruit from my hand. She said quietly, "You did not have to do this. I will wash it, and we can eat it right away." With that, she hurried toward the kitchen. I felt a little nervous. I barely knew Mi Cai, and every time we met, things got awkward. Now I was sitting in her apartment. Seeing adult toys and condoms all around made it even more awkward. Mi Cai came out carrying the fruit. She looked at me, then at the packages strewn across the floor. I actually bought those things for a reason. My father makes adult products. I had never really looked into that kind of thing before, so I bought some physical products to examine. She said it quite frankly. I ordered a whole bunch online. The night you first ran into me, I was actually checking whether a physical store had anything different. Mi Cai gave me an odd look. "Then why did you walk in at that exact moment?" It was rather sudden. After saying that, Mi Cai stared straight at me. Her eyes were full of curiosity. Sensing something off in the air, I answered awkwardly, "Senior, I am a young guy. Sometimes, late at night, I get certain urges. You know. So I went to buy a male pleasure toy." It took Mi Cai a moment to understand. She gave a slightly embarrassed cough. "Then could you do me a favor? I have a questionnaire. Could you fill it out for me?" I stared at her blankly and did not refuse. Mi Cai took out a notebook. One actually prepared this questionnaire a long time ago, but the questions are rather explicit. I figured most people would not want to answer them, so I kept putting it aside. My hand froze as I petted the cat. I had a bad feeling, but I was curious too. Mi Cai smiled in satisfaction. "Then I will begin. Yun Mo, you are 21, right? This is a questionnaire about men's private matters. Do not worry. I will keep it confidential. First question. Is your size 18 centimeters? My bad feeling had come true. I stared at Mi Cai expressionlessly. "I assume you mean my clothing or pants size." "No. I mean that length." Mi Cai's gaze drifted downward and stopped at a certain spot. Her face turned slightly red. "When you are feeling aroused." I gave an awkward smile. I just remembered I left the gas on at home. But do these apartments not all use natural gas? Mi Cai looked disappointed. "Forget it if you do not want to answer. I will find someone else to ask next time." I could not tell whether she was truly innocent or simply foolish. I looked at her doubtfully, my brows furrowing. Mi Cai paused, then said, "This questionnaire has to be completed, one way or another. It is just to understand these things." What she did not say was, she certainly did not need to handle this herself. The company had employees for that. It was not her job. As for why she was sitting here asking me these questions, it was obviously because she was doing it on purpose. I was at a loss for words. What decent girl drags someone into taking a survey like this? After taking a deep breath, I said, "For the first question, I have never measured it." Mi Cai let out an "oh." She seemed a little disappointed. "Then measure it when you get the chance." Under my speechless gaze, she moved on to the second question. "Which part of the opposite sex gives you sexual urges?" "Legs, waist, and breast." I let out a breath, telling myself this was only an ordinary questionnaire. I gave Mi Cai a suspicious look. I could not shake the feeling that the girl before me was flirting with me. By the end of the questionnaire, Mi Cai had asked every question seriously, without showing any strange emotion. My initial suspicions had faded, and I now saw it as an ordinary questionnaire too. There were not many questions, only 20. She looked up at me. May I ask one last question? By then, I had gone numb, from size at the beginning to frequency and duration at the end. Even though I was somewhat withdrawn and socially anxious, I had forgotten what being withdrawn or socially anxious even meant. Go ahead. I looked at Mi Cai and sighed. But first, I asked her a question. Are you this direct with all your male friends? Mi Cai froze, seemingly stumped by the question. Frowning at me, she answered seriously. I do not have any male friends. You are the first? Wasn't this moving a little fast? Her answer caught me off guard. I used to dislike being approached by the opposite sex too. Of course, it is a little better now, but I truly do not have any male friends. You are the first? I looked at her radiant smile and thought for a moment. She tilted her head at me. It is normal not to have friends of the opposite sex, right? I nodded. It is normal. I did not have any either. I glanced at Mi Cai and added, but I do now. She seemed happy to hear that. Mi Cai suddenly felt more genuine to me. She blinked. It is a good thing you do not have a girlfriend now. Otherwise, it might have been difficult for us to be friends. Oh, right? I have a gift for you. She suddenly remembered something. She jumped up and ran into her bedroom. Then she came out carrying a box. It was quite large. She set it in front of me. We are friends now. This is a gift for you. Mi Cai stood at the door to see me off. She watched me enter the apartment across the hall before closing her door. I carried the box back to my apartment. It all felt surreal. Just like that, I had become good friends with my counselor. I opened Mi Cai's gift, but when I saw the box full of adult products, I fell silent again. My hand began to twitch, just as I wondered what she meant by this. My phone started vibrating nonstop. I listlessly took it out and glanced at it. It was Mi Cai's familiar cat profile picture. I only opened those things to take a look. You said before it was about once a week or so. Is that not a little infrequent for someone your age? It is not good to keep holding it in. Oh, right? I still have a few more packages coming. Once I have looked through them, I will bring them to you. She followed it with a cute bear sticker. The hand holding my phone trembled slightly. For a moment, I had no idea how to reply to her. Then my phone vibrated again. No need to thank me. We are friends. That one word, friend, made me feel I had endured far too much tonight. I looked at that whole box of things, then let out a heavy sigh. That mature, rational, emotionally intelligent senior? It was all just an illusion. My hand shaking, I replied, this is enough. Besides, these things are not single-use. With a sigh of relief, I collapsed onto the couch. My mind felt dazed. My gaze went unfocused. I fell asleep on the couch. Over the next few days, we hardly saw each other. After all, we were already third years and did not have many classes. Only occasionally, when I went out in the morning to take out the trash, would I run into Mi Cai hurrying off to school. We only had time to exchange greetings before she rushed off. Things between us had indeed become much more natural, and we chatted often on WeChat. At heart, Mi Cai was someone who loved sharing things. She would even photograph ants relocating and send the pictures to me. At first, I was not used to it. But after Mi Cai sent 3 messages without a reply, she sent another one. Why have you not replied? Do you not want to be friends with me anymore? Friends are supposed to share with each other. I replied with a sticker. She seemed easy to please. She happily began sharing things with me again. That evening, after I got out of the shower, I saw a message from Mi Cai on my phone. Let us have dinner together tonight. I dried my hands and replied, okay. The moment I replied, there was a knock at the door. Mi Cai stood outside, phone in hand. I was just about to say, hi, Mi Cai, but froze when I looked up. At the sight of my bare upper body, her face began to redden. She looked away, unsure where to rest her eyes. Pretending not to notice, I turned and went inside. Come in and wait while I change. Mi Cai gave a soft hum. Then she followed me inside. I quickly changed and came back out. She was still standing exactly where she had been. Sorry, I am not used to having guests. Would you like some water? Do you want to sit for a while? I said with a sigh. Then I will come over often, and you will get used to it. Mi Cai answered without a second thought. Let us go eat now. As she spoke, her face moved a little closer to mine. I reached up and touched my chest. My heart was beating a little fast. Mi Cai seemed pleased. I saw a restaurant earlier, Let us try it. After saying that, she turned and looked back at me, to steps behind her. Come on, catch up. After a brief pause, I casually shut the door. Then I stood beside her and waited for the elevator. As we stood in the elevator, Mi Cai suddenly said, I did not expect you to be so slim. You have a really nice body. And ABS, too. Thinking of myself standing there shirtless, I suddenly felt embarrassed and gave a quiet hum. But I have abs too, you know. Mi Cai said with a smile. Her bright eyes curved into crescents. Suddenly, I felt something was off with me. Could I really be falling for her? I turned my head and met her big eyes. Mi Cai froze, her heart suddenly beating faster. Ding! The elevator arrived. I looked away and gently tugged her arm. Her face flushed as I led her out. We soon reached the restaurant. We sat down and chatted on and off. We talked about everything from family backgrounds to local customs. Will you go home to work after graduation? I am from your city. If you go back, we might never see each other again. The thought made Mi Cai unhappy. Her question caught me off guard. Then something occurred to me. You do not want me to go back. I do not. You would be too far away if you went back. Mi Cai honestly shook her head, sounding upset. Then I will not go back, I said with a smile. Mi Cai had not expected such a direct answer. Her heart began racing again. If you do not want me to go back, then I will not. I glanced at her and raised an eyebrow. She felt like something was wrong with her. When she heard I would stay because of one word from her, she seemed a little happy. Yun Mo, would you date someone? The question came rather suddenly. Seeing the conflict on her face, I sighed. I have no plans for that right now. Mostly because I have not met the right person. Mi Cai frowned deeply, feeling even more unsettled. Just then, the server began bringing out our food. We started eating and did not continue that conversation. Mi Cai had something weighing on her mind, and I was feeling restless too. After dinner, we left the restaurant. I spotted a movie theater nearby and turned to Mi Cai. Want to catch a movie? She was tempted, and a movie might reveal something too. Sure, it is still early, she said with a smile. We went into the theater and bought tickets. Mi Cai chose a romance movie hardly anyone was watching. There were only 6 people in the theater, including 2 couples. After Mi Cai sat down, she caught sight of the couples seated in the corners. She lowered her voice. Should we sit in a corner too? I lowered my voice too and leaned closer. They are all couples. They sit in the corners so they can get intimate. Mi Cai looked surprised and moved even closer. I looked at her face, so close to mine. Her lovely curled lashes fluttered, making my heart stir. Then my gaze fell on her lips, parted slightly. In surprise, soft and pink. I cursed silently. Just then, the lights went down and the movie began. Sounds came from the corners. Every so often, there was a girl's soft, breathy laugh. Mi Cai straightened up and settled back into her seat. When she noticed me reaching for a drink, Mi Cai reached out too for reasons she did not understand. Our hands touched as we reached for the same cola. The cola was ice cold, but our touching hands seemed to burn. I looked down at our hands. From that angle, it looked like I was cradling her hand in mine. I glanced sideways at Mi Cai. She was watching the screen as if she had not noticed. My fingers moved, then gently let go. Over the course of the movie, we brushed against each other 5 or 6 times. I was not an idiot. How could I believe that many accidents were just coincidences? As the movie reached its climax, the couples behind us began making suggestive sounds. I heard them. Mi Cai heard them too. I glanced at Mi Cai. She looked embarrassed, her face slightly red, but her beautiful eyes seemed unable to stop themselves from looking back. With a sigh, I reached out and covered her face as she was about to turn around. Mi Cai's big eyes were full of innocence. I gently turned her face forward. Then I casually stroked her hair. She instantly forgot the sounds behind her. All she could hear was her heart pounding like thunder. She reached up and touched her chest. It seemed she finally had the answer she sought. She could not focus on the rest of the movie. Even when it ended, she remained dazed in her seat. I stood and held out my hand. Taking Mi Cai's hand, I led her out of the theater. Warm moonlight shone on her face as we walked down the street. Mi Cai looked down at the hand holding hers. What are you thinking about? You seem distracted. I sighed. And no, nothing. I was thinking about the movie. Mi Cai gave me a smile. Suddenly, I realized what I was doing. I quickly let go of her hand. Soon, we reached her door. I watched her open the door and go inside. Watching her retreating figure, I wanted to say something. But in the end, I could not get the words out. On the balcony, I smoked and kept cursing myself. Yun Mo, you're pathetic. If you like her, just tell her. Meanwhile, Mi Cai looked unhappy too. After her shower, she looked at herself in the mirror. I look pretty good. Yunmo, how can you not understand? Staring at the light overhead, Mi Cai suddenly thought of a plan. The next morning, as I was making breakfast, there was a sudden knock at the door. I paused. Mi Cai stood outside holding her cat. She was still in her pajamas, apparently just awake. Good morning. I came to mooch breakfast. Did you make breakfast? She lifted the cat slightly. Besides, Egg Yolk told me it misses you. My gaze shifted from her to the cat. Then I reached out and took Egg Yolk. Come in. A smile curved across Mi Cai's face. Mission accomplished. I was inside Yunmo's apartment. I turned and glanced at her. What if I had not made breakfast? Then I would have invited you out for breakfast. Mi Cai took the cat from me. Either way, I wanted to have breakfast with you today. She said it with complete confidence. And somehow, it lifted my mood. Have a seat. It will be ready soon. Do you eat noodles? Holding the cat, Mi Cai obediently sat on the couch. With an innocent look, she said, the one mooching breakfast has no objections. I nodded and went into the kitchen. Mi Cai secretly smiled at my retreating back. She stroked Egg Yolk and whispered, Egg Yolk, I am going to find you a dad. You need to help me out too, understand? Egg Yolk looked at her and gave a helpless meow. Soon I carried the noodles to the dining table. Mi Cai obediently put down the cat and came over. She looked at the noodles, topped with 2 eggs. She picked up her chopsticks and gave 1 egg to me. 1 is enough for me. To thank you, let me treat you to lunch. You mean, you'll cook? I looked at her in surprise. Mi Cai shook her head. I cannot cook. I can take you out to eat. I sighed. I will cook lunch. Come over and eat. Mi Cai's eyes lit up. Okay. Then how about we go downstairs and buy groceries together? I looked into her expectant big eyes. Then I nodded. After finishing a bowl of noodles, Mi Cai was a little full. She touched her still flat stomach. Seriously, your cooking is so good. I will go back and change. Then we can go to the supermarket for ingredients. I could not shake the feeling that Mi Cai was different today. I watched her slender figure disappear through the doorway. I changed clothes too and headed out. I took Mi Cai to the supermarket. Then I turned to her. What would you like for lunch? She stared blankly at the vegetables, unable to identify most of them. I do not know. I am not a picky eater. I will eat whatever you make. I glanced at her and smiled. You are pretty easy to take care of. Yeah. Do you want to take care of me? Mi Cai blurted it out without thinking. I froze for a moment. My voice was hesitant. It is not like you can just decide to take care of someone. Mi Cai gave a light cough. That is not what I meant. But if you did, I could eat a little less. For once, I gave it some serious thought. Did she mean what I thought she meant? Mi Cai looked at me but did not answer. She felt a little disappointed. But I can support myself. I gave a quiet hum. I swallowed the words that had reached my lips. Then I led Mi Cai toward the snack aisle. Want to get some snacks? That caught her interest. Then I noticed she was choosing mostly high-calorie snacks. Aren't you afraid these will make you gain weight? I asked hesitantly. Mi Cai, who was picking out chips, stopped. Her expression darkened. Do I look fat? After saying that, she looked down at herself. Then she suddenly grabbed my hand and placed it on her waist. I am not fat, right? Even through her clothes, I could feel how slim her waist was. My gaze fell to my hand. It felt like both my hands could circle her waist. This outfit really showed off her figure. I quickly looked away. Yet my hand pinched her waist before I could stop it. I rubbed my nose, pretending nothing had happened. I was only asking. Do not get nervous. When I spoke, I realized my voice was a little hoarse. Mi Cai felt a little disappointed. Even touching her waist had not made him react. Still, at least he did not seem to mind. As we went along, we picked up quite a few more things. I realized Mi Cai was really different today. For example, she kept making seemingly accidental physical contact with me. And every time, there was a guilty flicker in those big eyes. It was obvious she was doing it on purpose. I saw through her, but said nothing, curious to see what she was up to. After paying quickly, I naturally took her wrist and led her all the way home. After we returned to the apartment, we both hesitated at the door. Do you want to come in for a while? Can I come over to your place for a while? We spoke at the same time. I opened the door and stepped aside to let Mi Cai in. I carried the groceries into the kitchen. When I came back out, I carried 2 glasses of water. Is warm water okay? I only have water and milk. Mi Cai nodded as she watched me come over and set down the glasses. Did you invite me in because you wanted to say something? I looked into her wide eyes, staring straight at me. Her direct question left me speechless. I really had not thought it through when I asked. I just wanted to spend a little more time with her. But after Mi Cai asked me that, I suddenly remembered something. I bought a cat teaser for egg yolk before. You can take it home later. I will get it. With that, I stood and went into my room. A moment later, I came back holding a cat teaser. Mi Cai felt a little jealous. He had actually remembered to buy egg yolk a cat teaser, so she could not even compare to a cat. After taking the cat teaser, she gave its feather a little shake. It lightly brushed across her slender neck. Suddenly, I did not want to give her that cat teaser. I held out my hand and said to Mi Cai, "Give it to me for a moment. I think the feather was a little loose before." Mi Cai did not think much of it. She said, "Oh," and handed me the cat teaser. Her warmth still lingered on the handle. My fingers lightly touched the feather from before. It was as though I could still feel the texture of her skin. Just as I was lost in my thoughts, Mi Cai suddenly spoke. "You are so good to egg yolk." There was a clear note of jealousy in her voice. I gave a quiet hum. "Egg yolk is very cute. Then am I not cute?" she suddenly asked. As she spoke, her beautiful face moved a little closer. Who is cuter, egg yolk or me? Looking at her face so close to mine, I suddenly wanted to tell her. The reason I bought that cat teaser was because it made me think of her when I saw it. But I could not say that. Otherwise, I would really seem like a pervert. "You are the prettiest." I looked away, then got up and retreated awkwardly to the kitchen. Mi Cai was taken aback. I clearly asked who was cuter. She looked at the two glasses on the table. "And there is water right here." Once in the kitchen, I pulled open the refrigerator. I took out a bottle of ice-cold mineral water and downed the large bottle in one go. When I came back after drinking it, I found Mi Cai sitting on the couch, waving me over. I paused, but still walked over. Then I sat beside her on the couch. Mi Cai glanced at me. Little by little, she scooted closer. When our eyes met, her face suddenly grew warm. She could not get the rest of her words out. Just then, someone knocked at the door across the hall. She suddenly let out a breath of relief. Only then did she realize she had been holding her breath. Disappointed, I looked away. Then I picked up a glass from the table and took a sip. "Is that your friend knocking?" Mi Cai looked at me and said softly, "That is my glass." I froze. Awkwardly, I set the glass down. "Sorry." My ears felt hot. They must have turned red. I did not dare look at her. I only sensed her rise from the couch. She walked to the door and answered her phone. I quickly reached up and touched my burning ear. My gaze fell on the glass I had just set down. Did that count as a kiss? Mi Cai soon hung up. "Sorry. My friend is here. We probably cannot have lunch together." She looked a little disappointed. Oddly, I felt relieved instead. With that, she walked out. I watched her leave and viciously cursed myself in my heart. Looking at the glass she had drunk from, I actually wanted another sip. Just as I was considering what to do that afternoon, my phone rang. It was Mom. She said there was an emergency and told me to come home. I hurriedly put down the glass in my hand. Then I caught a bus home. On the bus, my mind was full of what had just happened. As I sat lost in thought, I received a message from Mi Cai. "Let us have dinner together tonight." I sighed. Looking down, I replied, "There is an emergency. I need to go home. I also need to ask you for some time off." Mi Cai had planned to use dinner that night to test how I felt about her. Besides, she really wanted to eat my cooking. She stared at her phone, her eyes filled with disappointment. "If I did not approve it, would you come back?" Mi Cai sighed and replied, "Okay. Make sure you come back soon. Tell me if you need any help." In the blink of an eye, a week passed. Mi Cai still had not heard a word from me, and the tightly shut door across the hall had never opened. She took out her phone and looked at it. Her face was full of worry. The screen was filled with messages she had sent me, but not one had received a reply. She picked up her phone and one by one reviewed their chat history. Suddenly, her phone rang. It was a message from Yunmo. "I will be back tomorrow." The gloom on her face vanished at once. She carefully typed her reply. "Then can we have a meal together?" I looked at the message on my phone and could not hold back any longer. I replied, "Of course, I will cook for you." Whenever my mind was free these past few days, I thought of Mi Cai. I thought of our accidental touches at her place, and that sip of water she drank from the wrong glass. Whenever I pictured Mi Cai's face, I wanted to tell her, "I want to date you." Early the next morning, knowing I would see Mi Cai that day, I was sitting in the classroom bright and early. Just as I thought of her, Mi Cai walked in. "All right, quiet down." Her voice suddenly stopped. She stared blankly in one direction. Our eyes met across most of the classroom. Then I saw delighted laughter flash in her eyes. The corners of my mouth lifted despite myself. So this was what it felt like to like someone. We had only been apart for a few days. Yet seeing her again made me miss her this much. Her smile softened. It had not faded since she saw me. Class was over soon after. Mi Cai received a message on her phone. Do you have class later? Want to buy groceries together and have lunch at home? I will wait for you at the school gate. She hurriedly replied. Okay. With that, she left the classroom. I stood at the school gate, my mind full of Mi Cai. Suddenly, a pair of hands waved before my face. Did the heat make you wait yourself, silly? I reached out and caught her waving hand. I stared straight into her eyes. The sun was blazing. I noticed her face had turned a little red. We walked on, one behind the other. The moment I brought Mi Cai to the market entrance, I regretted it a little. There were crowds at the entrance, everyone rushing past. Worried for her, I reached out and took hold of her wrist. I glanced at the delicate girl beside me. Mi Cai lowered her eyes to the wrist I was holding. Then she looked up at me and casually shifted her hand. Feeling my grip loosen around her wrist, Mi Cai did not dare look at me. Come on, hold my hand. I am afraid I will get lost. My hand shifted, gently clasping hers in return. We entered the market together. The packed crowd pressed our bodies close together. Mi Cai felt as if she could hear a heartbeat. I turned to look at Mi Cai. Same as before? I did not get to make you lunch last time. Anything is fine. The instant she spoke, Mi Cai was annoyed with herself. Why was she stuttering again? I like seeing Mi Cai flustered around me. So, completely unlike how she was with everyone else. I had already felt that she treated me differently. Keeping close to protect her, I quickly bought the groceries. The market was crowded, and it smelled unpleasant. Still holding her hand, I was just about to turn around, when the path behind us dipped slightly. I looked down at Mi Cai in my arms. She happened to look up at me too. My lips lightly brushed her smooth forehead. We both froze. Then we quickly looked away. Are you all right? It seemed I had accidentally kissed her, even if it was only her forehead. After everything that had happened that day, Mi Cai felt as if her pounding heart was about to burst from her chest. Something flickered in her eyes. Suddenly, she wrapped her arms around my waist and leaned into my embrace. When she felt my body stiffen, she quickly let go. She stepped back, lowered her head, and said, I am fine. Someone needed to pass behind you. I looked behind me. There was no one there at all. We were not holding hands when we left, but I stayed behind Mi Cai the whole time, protecting her. The walk from the market to our apartment complex was not far. For the rest of the walk, we said nothing, each lost in our own thoughts. When we reached our floor, Mi Cai handed me the groceries. I will go shower and change. I will be right back. I nodded. The air between us was a little awkward. I looked at the closed door and let out a breath. I really wanted to be her boyfriend. That hug, less than 3 seconds long, was not enough. Neither was that accidental kiss. I truly wanted to hold her forever, to touch her openly and freely. People are greedy creatures. I went back and took a shower first. I reached down and touched my waist. Mi Cai had just held me there. Too bad she had let go so quickly. Either way, after lunch today, maybe we could watch a movie at home together, then talk for a while and ask her, Mi Cai, will you be my girlfriend? I ordered a bouquet of purple lilacs from a florist, because they symbolized first love. Then I picked a highly rated cake shop and bought its signature desserts. In a fine mood, I opened the refrigerator. After tidying it up, I set the ingredients beside the sink. Mi Cai arrived a little earlier than I expected. I put the desserts that had just been delivered into the refrigerator. I thought about the bouquet for a long time, but in the end, I arranged it in a vase and set it in the living room. When Mi Cai knocked at the door with the cat in her arms, I had just finished clearing away the bouquet's wrapping. The moment I opened the door, I came face to face with Dan Wang's pretty little face. The cat meowed at me. Mi Cai peeked out from behind the cat, her voice full of complaint. Dan Wang kept pawing at me and would not let me leave. So I brought the cat with me. As she spoke, she held her fair, soft arm up before me. Look, it scratched me. It is all red. I looked at her smooth, pale arm. There were indeed several red marks on it. I took Dan Wang from her arms, then lightly brushed my fingers over Mi Cai's arm. Dan Wang, do not bully your big sister, I said with a smile. We met each other's eyes. A shared shyness flickered in both our eyes. I naturally withdrew my hand and carried Dan Wang toward the sofa. Have a seat. The ingredients are ready. I started the soup early, so we can eat soon. As I spoke, I set Dan Huang on the sofa. Dan Huang clearly had been here before. The cat strode off with graceful steps to the sofa by the window, then hopped onto the windowsill and curled up. It looked as though it were saying, "Talk all you want, just do not disturb my rest." She noticed how fresh the flowers on the table were, but they had not bought any flowers on their way back. What flowers are these? They are beautiful. After all, this was my first time doing something like this, so I was a little embarrassed. My ears felt hot, and I could not help touching them. Purple lilacs. I had them delivered just now. Mi Cai gave a puzzled little hum. After saying that, I hurriedly turned and headed for the kitchen. Because you were coming, I prepared flowers and cake in advance, hoping we could enjoy a lovely lunch together, and hopefully, the afternoon as well. Mi Cai stood there, watching my slightly flustered back. She took out her phone and looked up the meaning of purple lilacs. The meaning of purple lilacs: purity, first love, longing, shyness, and radiance. They represent the innocent stirrings of first love. Mi Cai's face slowly reddened. She looked up at my figure in the kitchen and could not help smiling. She walked to the sofa and sat down. The tiny blooming flowers were right before her. From this day on, they would be her favorite flowers. In the kitchen, my heart was racing. "Can you pull yourself together?" I quietly scolded myself. I suddenly put the lid on the pot and looked toward the living room. I saw only her back and her long, black, wavy hair. She must have washed it and not tied it up yet. It fell beautifully down her back. It would look even more beautiful spread over her bed, would it not? I shook my head, pulling my lecherous thoughts back in. After hesitating for a moment, I picked up my phone and searched online. "Can you kiss after confessing for the first time?" My fingers unconsciously rubbed against my phone for a moment. My thoughts began to drift. "It smells so good." Mi Cai's soft voice sounded behind me. I immediately locked my phone and casually set it aside. Then I turned to look at her. "Why did you come in?" Mi Cai blinked. "It smelled so good, so I came in to see, and to ask if you need any help." I washed my hands. "There is nothing you need to help with. It is almost ready. I just need to make some scrambled eggs with tomatoes." Mi Cai gave a quiet "oh." "Is this not too much food for just the two of us?" "For dishes and a soup." I lifted the lid. The rich aroma of braised beef washed over us. Mi Cai's eyes lit up. "Did you not say you wanted it? It will not go to waste. I can finish whatever is left tonight. Then I will have dinner with you," Mi Cai said without hesitation. "I cannot let you eat leftovers by yourself." As she spoke, she took a plate from the sterilizing cabinet. But when she turned, she met my gaze. My gaze was full of helplessness. "If you eat with me, it will not be leftovers." As I said that, I took the plate from her hand. Our fingers briefly touched. Mi Cai lowered her hand. Her fingers twitched slightly. "It is fine. I do not mind eating leftovers." "No need. Whenever you want it, I will make it for you," I said softly. When Mi Cai heard that, she happily walked out of the kitchen. I was in a wonderful mood in the kitchen. Nothing makes you happier than when the person you likes you back. I carried the dishes out, then served 2 bowls of rice before calling Mi Cai. "Lunch is ready," Mi Cai answered. As she came over, she seemed to remember something. She casually asked, "Do not call me Professor anymore. It makes our age difference seem huge. Just call me Mi Cai." Mi Cai. I called her name, my eyes brimming with laughter. Mi Cai felt as though she could hear a tender, lingering affection in it. Her face flushed. Her eyes darted away, too shy to look at me. She gave a soft hum. "Mi Cai." I called her again. Her face grew redder and redder. The feeling was wonderful. It could only be felt, not easily described. If I had to use one word, it would be happiness. For the first time, Mi Cai felt at a loss for words. She could not think of a fitting word to describe it. After a pause, she asked, "What do your friends call you?" "They call me all kinds of things. My name is only 2 syllables. Call me whatever you like. Then I will call you Yunmo." "Your name is really beautiful," Mi Cai said quietly, lowering her head to eat. After 2 bites, she suddenly asked, "Do you like cats or dogs?" That was what I wanted to say. But clearly, this was not the right time. If I said it, neither of us would be able to finish lunch. Once I was sure Mi Cai felt the same way, my heart grew restless. I only wanted to tell her how I felt as soon as possible. Would she like to give dating a try? The atmosphere between us was tangled and uncertain. That was how we finished our meal. After lunch, Mi Cai helped me clear the table. I did not stop her, and carried the remaining food behind her. Do you have anything to do this afternoon? Would you like to watch a movie together? I have a projector at home. I even prepared little cakes. Mi Cai set down what she was holding. The corner of her lips lifted. It seemed she had prepared everything. She turned and said, "Sure." I was already standing behind her, holding a plate. When she turned around, it brought us face to face, at an especially close distance. Only the smallest gap remained between us. I looked down at her. She stared at me, slightly stunned, then began to blush. I let out a quiet breath and took a small step back. "So, what would you like to watch?" Flustered, Mi Cai raised a hand to touch her face, but felt the gesture was too obvious. In the end, she merely smoothed her already neat hair. Sure, anything is fine. Let us watch a horror movie. After I finished washing the dishes, I dried my hands and picked up my phone, ready to look up the movie Mi Cai had mentioned. When she came over, we could watch it together. Come to think of it, drawing the curtains for a horror movie would create an enclosed space, which might make it easier for us to grow closer. A smile curled at my lips. Should I confess after the movie? I glanced at the flowers blooming in the vase. A dry, straightforward confession would be strange. Let us watch the movie. By the time it ended, it would be nearly time for dinner. I projected the movie I found onto the screen and drew the curtains. Snacks, little cakes, drinks and flowers. Everything was ready. The room was lit only by the projector's dim glow. I looked at Mi Cai to make sure. "You really want to watch this?" Mi Cai nodded. I remained still, looking at her. The movie began playing its eerie horror soundtrack. The distance between us seemed to shrink a little. I reached out and took her wrist. I said softly, "I am a little scared." "Do not be afraid. If you are really scared, we can watch something else." I shook my head. "It is fine. Watch what you want. Besides, it has already started." In the scenes that followed, Mi Cai could not focus on the screen at all, because I never let go of her wrist. Halfway through, I finally felt Mi Cai's hand move. Her tiny voice reached me. "My hand is getting numb." Though reluctant, I let go. "Sorry, I was a little scared." Mi Cai shook out her hand. I glanced at her and met her smiling gaze. Then she held out her hand again. "Can we hold hands instead?" My gaze fixed on her outstretched palm. I suddenly chuckled. I took that hand and gently placed it on my thigh. Her heart was pounding wildly. The palm I had just held was already growing hot. I could feel the hands we held growing warm. Then I heard Mi Cai whisper, "Could you lower the temperature a little? I am a little warm." I tightened my hold on her hand, then picked up the remote beside me. The little hand in mine moved slightly. By reflex, I squeezed it a little tighter, then worried I might hurt her. As I thought that, her little hand shifted nimbly in mine. Slowly, I felt her fingers slip between each of mine. Our fingers became tightly interlaced. Mi Cai's voice was barely more than a breath. "We are holding hands with our fingers interlaced." Unable to resist, I turned to look at her. She had lowered her head instead of watching the movie. Even in the projector's flickering light, I could tell she was shy. Her face was bright red. This was the moment, right? My wandering thoughts suddenly snapped back. "Mi Cai, we are holding hands." But that was not what I had planned to say. After all, confessing was a complete blind spot for me. Through all 21 years of my life, hearing my voice, Mi Cai looked up at me. She panicked too, with no time to think things through. She only knew I was the first person she had ever liked, and she could not let such a perfect chance slip away. I do not hold hands with anyone else, especially not like this, fingers interlaced. "So, would you like me?" Mi Cai could hear her own heart pounding. She was terrified that if she said one more word, her heart would leap right out of her mouth. "I like you. It is just that. You are different. So, would you like me?" Tears brimmed in her eyes from nerves, but she forced herself to finish. "You like girls with long legs. My legs are long. I have a pretty good figure too. I cannot cook, but I can learn. Will you consider me?" I looked at Mi Cai, who had blurted it all out in one breath. Her eyes were full of tears. In the dim light, she looked so pitiful. I looked into those tear-filled eyes, and only came back to my senses after a long moment. It seemed she had beaten me to the confession. I was just about to say something, when Mi Cai spoke again. Her voice was already choked with tears. If you reject me, I will move out. I bought my apartment myself." The moment she finished, her tears fell. Despite my own nerves, I suddenly laughed. How could she be this adorable even when confessing? My hand moved on its own to wipe her tears, but Mi Cai caught it. "Do not look at me. This is so embarrassing. Do you not want to hear my answer?" Mi Cai choked out. I do not want to hear it. If you reject me, I will just cry right here at your place. I will cry myself to death. And if you say yes, I will still feel so embarrassed. Who cries halfway through a confession? As she spoke, she tried to pull her hand back, but I held it tighter. I pulled her firmly into my arms. Do not cry. There is nothing embarrassing about it. It is adorable. I suddenly realized my voice had softened without my noticing. One hand continued to stroke her back. I should have been the one to confess. Do you still want to know my answer? I sighed. You can probably tell that I do not really like being around women. But you are different. During my time off, I thought of you every day. We have only known each other for 2 or 3 months. Yet you are in so many of the moments I remember. I think I must have fallen in love. I looked down at Mi Cai in my arms and asked, will you be my girlfriend? I might not become a perfect boyfriend overnight, but I will do my best. I will. Mi Cai's voice trembled slightly. I am not that great either, but I am really happy. So happy that you like me too. I reached out and gently touched the red rims of her eyes. Then do not cry anymore. Mi Cai's lashes fluttered softly. She slowly closed her eyes. I pressed a soft kiss to her lips. It was my first kiss, but it felt far better than I had imagined. Young bodies are easily stirred by even the slightest stimulation. Before long, I loosened my hold on her soft body, resting my cheek lightly on her shoulder. My breath brushed across Mi Cai's neck. Sensitive to it, she drew her neck in slightly. Her face was still flushed. I let out a soft sigh. I did not do very well at my first kiss. Then let us do it again. Mi Cai answered without hesitation. Only after saying it did she realize what she had said. Her already red face turned even redder. I looked up at her. All I saw were her scarlet cheeks. I chuckled softly. Then I will do better this time. Kissing is something you can get addicted to. At least, that is how I felt. Our bodies pressed close together. One hand supported her waist, gently caressing her skin. Half an hour later, Mi Cai was sitting on my lap. She was happy, and her body had relaxed. I could not resist ruffling her hair. What am I going to do? I think you are so adorable. With that, I kissed her lips again. The blush had not faded from Mi Cai's face. I held her in my arms and kissed her tenderly. Naturally, she was delighted. She slowly nestled into my arms. By then, the movie had ended. Only the projector's faint glow remained. We stayed wrapped in each other's arms, kissing now and then, until Egg Yolk came out of my bedroom. The moment he came out, he saw 2 humans embracing, looking all lovey-dovey. He meowed twice, but neither of us paid him any attention. That made him unhappy. He jumped onto the couch and wedged himself between us. Mi Cai reached over and picked up Egg Yolk. Her fair, soft, slender hands gently stroked Egg Yolk. Then, with unconcealed pride, she said, you cannot rub against Yun Mo whenever you want anymore. He is mine now. Egg Yolk. Meow, meow, meow. I got up and drew back the curtains, looking at the girl and cat on the couch. Did I just gain 2 little kittens to take care of? I looked at her swollen eyes. Go wash your face. I will get you a cold compress. Saying that, I took Mi Cai to the bathroom. Then she promptly shooed me out. Standing outside the closed bathroom door, I suddenly came to my senses. Mi Cai and I were together. We had held hands, hugged, and even kissed. After glancing at the bathroom, I went to the couch and picked up the cat. I took out my phone and snapped a lovely photo of Egg Yolk. Then I posted it on WeChat Moments. Caption: I am in love. Soon, Mi Cai came out of the bathroom. Her hair was slightly damp, and droplets still clung to her face. I watched a drop of water slide down her cheek, then down her neck, disappearing beneath her collar. I found myself a little jealous of that drop of water. Do you have a towel or a face cloth? Mi Cai wiped her face with her hand. Otherwise, I can go back and get one. I snapped out of it. Wait a moment. I have one. Then I turned and went into the bedroom. Mi Cai picked up Egg Yolk. She tapped his nose. You have a daddy now. Egg Yolk reached out and patted her with his soft paw. I had just come out. When I saw that scene, I reached over and scooped up the cat, then handed Mi Cai the towel. Do not bully your mom. Look, her eyes are all red. She is such a little crybaby. Only then did Mi Cai feel a little embarrassed. She unfolded the towel and pressed it over her face. I am not a crybaby. Her muffled voice tried to explain. I was just feeling emotional earlier. Though she did not sound very convincing, I did not call her out on it. I just smiled and watched her. I went to the couch and folded it flat. Do you want to rest for a while? She murmured in agreement and lay down on the couch. I looked at Mi Cai lying on the couch. Some very improper thoughts suddenly flashed through my mind. I crouched down and leaned close to her face, then kissed the pulse at her neck. Taking advantage of the fact that she could not see me, I stood up. I looked down at a certain spot and sighed. Then I smiled. This especially adorable girl lying on my couch was my girlfriend now. By the time Mi Cai woke up, it was already dark. She opened her eyes, and everything before she fell asleep came rushing back. I confessed to him. He accepted. Then I cried for so long. Mi Cai covered her face with her hands. How embarrassing. Then she looked around. Neither Egg Yolk nor I were in the living room or kitchen. At last, Mi Cai's gaze settled on the half-open bedroom door. She got off the couch and slowly walked to the doorway. The bedroom light was on. I sat before the computer, typing on the keyboard. Egg Yolk's tail hung down from my lap. Mi Cai did not move. She simply stood there and watched for a while. When I turned around, I saw Mi Cai standing in the doorway. I froze for a moment, then picked up the cat and walked over. When did you wake up? Mi Cai glanced at the cat in my arms. You should put him down now and hold me. Amused, I put Egg Yolk down and wrapped my arms around her. Okay, I am holding you. Mi Cai happily narrowed her eyes. Egg Yolk flicked his tail and walked away. To foolish humans. Holding my clearly clingy girlfriend, I asked, how long do you want to stay like this? Are you hungry? The hand around her waist gave it a gentle stroke. Mi Cai's face instantly turned red. She pulled my hand away, then turned to leave. Why are you like this? And she fled in embarrassment. I watched her retreating back, and suddenly the house felt a little empty. I sighed. So this is what being in love feels like. The next morning, I had classes all morning, and one class in the afternoon. But Mi Cai did not have class until the afternoon. So, she was probably still asleep. After thinking it over, I got up and made breakfast anyway. I hung it on Mi Cai's doorknob and sent her a message. I made you breakfast. It is outside your door. Remember to eat it when you get up. I did not get a reply by the time I reached school. I had just entered the classroom and sat down when Ruyan came in through the front door. This time, she did not sit in front of me. Her attitude made me breathe a sigh of relief. If she kept pestering me, I truly would not know what to do. It was not as if I could hit her. This was much better. She could remain the class beauty and leave me alone. I could keep doting on my girlfriend. Perfect. I got Mi Cai's message after my first class ended. First came a good morning sticker. Then, over 10 minutes later, she sent, breakfast was delicious. It was followed by a kissing sticker. Good thing I had used a thermos that morning. Otherwise, it would have been cold by then. Amused, I replied. You can make up that kiss when I get back. A sticker does not count. She sent back a shy sticker. Just as I was about to reply, I heard my deskmate say, Yunmo, you are dating someone? He said it loudly. Everyone in the classroom turned to look. I quickly covered his mouth. Keep it down. Several rows ahead, Ruyan's eyes had turned red. During class that afternoon, Ruyan sat in front of me again. This time, she did not turn around to greet me like before. She simply sat down and stared ahead. I frowned slightly, but said nothing. After all, anyone could sit wherever they wanted. I could hardly make her leave. Ruyan knew plenty of people were waiting to see her make a fool of herself. But she could not quite let it go. She had liked me for a long time. Perhaps longer than I had imagined. She had finally worked up the courage to confess in our junior year. Yet it had still ended in rejection. Today, they said I was dating someone. Ruyan could neither understand nor believe it. How could Yunmo be dating someone? Did he not like anyone? That was why she sat in front of me again. Just to find out whether the relationship was real. But until class ended, she did not hear me mention it once. Just as I was about to leave, Ruyan, silent and facing forward in the seat ahead, suddenly stood up. I had no intention of acknowledging her and turned to leave. Ruyan had not expected me to be so heartless. Yunmo, are you dating someone? Who is she? She called after me, but I did not stop. I just left. I did not even look back. Ruyan's face went pale, watching me walk away. She felt like a clown, but she truly could not accept it. After loving him for so many years, how could she possibly let go just like that? Ruyan withdrew her gaze. If no one would tell her, she would find out for herself. The resentment in her eyes twisted her once delicate, pretty face. I did not care about any of that. I left campus and went straight to the supermarket. I took out my phone, ready to ask Mi Cai what she wanted for dinner, when a message suddenly popped up on WeChat. It was from Ruyan. Yunmo, are you dating someone? I frowned and did not reply. I hesitated. She was the class monitor, after all. Should I delete her or not? Ryan's second message came through. I am at the entrance to the apartment complex you rent. Can we meet and talk? I am begging you. You cannot just ignore me, because I confessed my feelings and you rejected me. After reading it, I blocked her without hesitation. I did not understand why Ryan was so persistent. It was not as if I were some heartthrob like Wu Yanzu or Liu Dehua. I glanced at my phone and received another text message. Yunmo, you blocked me. Can we meet, please? I've known of you for a long time. We competed together in high school. We were in the same classroom. Do you really not remember me at all? Frowning, I blocked the number. I did not give it another thought. At the entrance to the apartment complex, Ryan was unwilling to give up. She looked toward the complex, but she had no idea which building or floor I lived on. All she could do was sit there and wait. It was after 10 when I finally walked out of the complex. Her eyes immediately lit up. She rose straight from her chair. Ryan smiled. I knew you could not bear to leave me. Then she waited eagerly for me to come closer. The moment I reached the entrance, I heard a delighted voice from ahead. Yunmo, I am here. Goosebumps instantly rose all over me. Then I saw Ryan standing there, smiling at me. It had been nearly 2 hours already. Why was she still here? Ryan looked at me, her eyes red-rimmed. Can we talk? I just want to talk to you. I clicked my tongue. You are being creepy. I am calling the police. Ryan's expression turned ugly. Just a few minutes. We are classmates, are we not? You do not want me following you every day, do you? I frowned, irritation rising inside me. I really was worried she might start following me every day. I glanced at my phone. Mi Cai had said to pick her up in half an hour. There was enough time. I walked toward Ryan. Fine. We will talk. Ryan followed behind me for a while. I had no intention of slowing down for her. I looked back at her. Her sweet smile sent a chill down my spine. You still care about me, don't you? That is why you came out, and why you are taking me back to school. I knew it. You are not that cold-hearted. Ryan looked at me with sparkling eyes. At her words, my frown deepened. What are you talking about? I am going out because I have something to do. Say what you need to say, quickly. Otherwise, I am leaving. The smile at Ryan's lips faded slightly. Disappointment flickered in her eyes. Are you really dating someone? I looked at her. Yes, I have a girlfriend. So stop harassing me. Tears immediately streamed down Ryan's face. Do you really not like me at all? Is it because my legs are too short? I can have leg lengthening surgery. I cut her off. It has nothing to do with your legs. I just do not like you as a person. I do not know why you insist on clinging to me. We are both adults. I do not want to say anything harsher. So, can you act like you do not know me from now on? No. Ryan blurted it out without hesitation. I came to this school because of you. You cannot do this to me. Ryan said in a trembling voice. Her tears fell one drop at a time. Passers-by could not help glancing at her. Only I, standing opposite her, kept frowning. My expression was plainly impatient. But, Ryan, I cannot take responsibility for everyone's feelings. And I do not believe I have ever done anything to mislead you. I was growing impatient and frustrated. If you expect me to return your feelings, then there is nothing left to discuss. I checked the time. I have to go. Then tell me, who is your girlfriend? If you will not tell me, I will assume you are lying. I do not believe you could like someone else. Ryan grabbed the hem of my shirt. The last of my patience ran out. I yanked my shirt free. If you follow me again, I will call the police. With that, I walked away without looking back. I heard her calling my name behind me, but I did not turn around. Had I known she only wanted to say that nonsense, I would not have wasted those few minutes. I left her standing there with red eyes, weeping nonstop. As I walked, I texted Mi Cai. I got held up on the way. I am coming to pick you up now. I will be there in 5 minutes. When Mi Cai, still in the karaoke lounge, saw the message, she smiled happily. Anticipation stirred in her heart. Now she had someone to pick her up too. A senior student beside her noticed her checking her phone. She leaned closer with a smile. What are you looking at? Why are you smiling so happily? Mi Cai reflexively locked her phone. Nothing. A friend is coming to pick me up soon. Even as she said it, her face could not hide her smile. The senior student teased you. Then she lowered her voice and asked, Is it really your boyfriend? Mi Cai lifted a long, pale finger to her lips in a shushing gesture. She did not deny it. The senior student gave her a thumbs up. She joked. A lot of people are about to have their hearts broken. Mi Cai waved her hand. What are you talking about? The senior student loved teasing this younger girl, who looked so soft and sweet. Mi Cai was thinking it was about time to say goodbye to the senior guys and girls before leaving. Then her phone suddenly vibrated. It was a message from me. I am downstairs. She glanced at her phone and stood. A little embarrassed, she said, Sorry, my friend is downstairs. I will not be joining you for a late-night meal. Mi Cai finished the half glass of cocktail in her cup, then left the private room. Mi Cai did not usually drink much. After downing nearly half a glass at once, she actually felt a little dizzy. She touched her burning cheeks. Then she hurried into the elevator down to the first floor. The alcohol had flushed her fair face pink. Her eyes were watery, but bright. When the elevator doors opened, she walked out. She ran into a group of men, probably there to sing as well. One man's eyes lit up when he saw Mi Cai. He whistled at her. Hearing it, Mi Cai glanced over. She could not help frowning. Hey, beautiful. What are you looking at? Seeing her look over, the man grinned and spoke. The other men beside him turned to look as well. She really is gorgeous. Want to come sing with us? As one of the men approached her with his phone, Mi Cai instinctively stepped back. Her brow furrowed. Just then, a pair of hands steadied her by the shoulders. Careful. A familiar voice sounded. Mi Cai felt the fear in her chest finally settle. I strode over. Just as she stepped back, I caught her. Using the motion, I pulled her half into my arms. I looked up at the man approaching with his phone. He stopped where he was. Oh, she has a boyfriend. Sorry, man. Though my expression was grim, I still nodded to them. I held the soft body in my arms closer. I felt her small hand gently grasp the hem of my shirt. I caught the faint scent of alcohol on Mi Cai. I looked down at her and met her sparkling gaze. You drank. Mi Cai held up her fingers a tiny distance apart. Just a little. My senior gave me some fruit wine. It was only 6%, I think. Her little face was rosy, and she looked truly beautiful. Her eyes were watery, too. I took her hand and led her outside. Then let us go home. Mi Cai's smile grew sweeter. Okay. Take me home. Hearing her sweet voice, I could not resist looking back at her. I met the gaze that had been following me all along. I led her out the entrance, then covered her eyes with my hand. Her long lashes fluttered against my palm. Do not keep looking at me. What? Mi Cai asked, a little unhappy. I released her hand. Then I gave her slightly pouting lips a light kiss. Because it makes me want to kiss you. Mi Cai reached out and took my hand. You have to hold my hand. What if I get lost? Amused and exasperated, I tightened my hold on her hand. Okay, I will hold it the whole way. Let us go home. Mi Cai glanced contentedly at their joined hands. Then she obediently followed behind me. Who am I? I suddenly asked. Mi Cai obediently answered. Yun Mo. That put me somewhat at ease. But I still gritted out. You are not allowed to drink when you are out anymore. Even 6% alcohol gets you drunk. It is far too worrying. I am not drunk, Mi Cai said unhappily. I know you are Yun Mo. I know you came to take me home. I looked sideways at her. Sure enough, she was still looking at me with those sparkling eyes. My Adam's apple bobbed. We were standing beneath a large tree. The mood was already perfect. Not kissing would have been a disservice to that tree. I lowered my head and asked Mi Cai, you want a kiss? Mi Cai tilted her head at me. With Yun Mo. With Yun Mo, yes. Those words left me unable to think. I gently pulled her into my arms. Without a moment's hesitation, I lowered my head and kissed her soft, glistening red lips. The instant our lips met, I tasted peach and wine. It tasted rather good. At first, Mi Cai seemed not to have processed it. She stood there blankly. Her vision was a little hazy. Her long lashes fluttered a few times. Then she closed her misty, unfocused eyes. Slowly, she extended her little tongue. 1,000 words are omitted here. In the end, it was the hushed chatter of two older women that brought me back to my senses. I pulled Mi Cai, eyes closed and face crimson, into my arms. A girlfriend this sweet was going to be the death of me. I took a breath and looked down at the girl in my arms. If we were at home, Mi Cai opened her eyes and innocently asked, what would happen at home? At home, I would punish you for being naughty. I brushed a finger across her lips. For the moment, Mi Cai could not figure out what that punishment meant. Hand in hand, she walked home with me. Just as we entered the apartment complex, she suddenly asked, what is the punishment? Was I naughty? I paused. I drew a breath, but did not answer right away. I held her hand and continued toward home. Mi Cai pouted and followed me for the steps. Then she suddenly stopped. I am not walking anymore. Her voice rose a little. I stopped, helplessness on my face. Why are you not walking? Mi Cai widened her big eyes, doing her best to look angry. My feet hurt. My feet hurt. I cannot walk anymore. My gaze fell to her feet. With her canvas sneakers on, I could not tell anything. With a sigh, I walked over to her. I reached out and touched her slightly hot face. But we are almost home. Can we walk the rest of the way? No, Mi Cai said pitifully. Why did you not offer to carry me on your back? I looked at the short dress she was wearing. Sorry, I am not being considerate, but your dress is too short today. I cannot carry you piggyback. Mi Cai gave a quiet "oh" and lowered her head in silence. She looked utterly pitiful. How can I possibly resist that? Then can I carry you home in my arms? Mi Cai immediately looked up. Her eyes sparkled as she looked at me. Can you? Her voice lifted. Nothing like her pitiful act from before. I opened my arms and swept her up around the waist. Mi Cai happily kicked her legs. I could not help smiling. How could even her silly grin be this cute? I looked down at the girl in my arms. Once I picked her up, Mi Cai finally settled down. She buried her face against my collarbone. Holding her close, I strode toward the elevator. When we left the elevator, I asked the girl in my arms, "Where are the keys? Are they in your backpack?" But she hugged her bag tighter and muttered, "I do not know. Lost them. They are gone. Anyway, I do not have them." She simply did not want us to part. She wanted to be held a little longer. Carrying her, I headed straight for my own door. Mi Cai curled her lips into a smile. She rubbed her face against my collarbone. I was a little troubled. I could not get the keys while holding her. Looking down at Mi Cai, I coaxed, "Come down for a moment. Let me get the keys, okay?" The girl in my arms shook her head. "No. Hold me." I lowered my head and kissed her cheek. "Be good and stand for a moment. I will pick you up again once I open the door." Mi Cai dazedly raised a hand and touched the cheek I had kissed. She looked up at me. Oh, yet she still showed no intention of letting go. Her big eyes blinked up at me. Then I suddenly understood. I kissed her soft pink lips too. "There. Come down and stand. You can stand there with your arms around my waist, okay?" This time, Mi Cai finally nodded. I bent down and gently set her feet on the floor. I pushed open the door. Mi Cai was beginning to stumble. I bent down and picked her up again. I carried her straight into the bedroom and laid her on the bed. But I found she had no intention of letting go. "Be good. I will pour you some water." "No. Hold me." Mi Cai shook her head, looking at me pitifully. "You said you would hold me. You are breaking your promise." I stroked her head, feeling helpless. "How about this? Did you not say your feet hurt? I have some massage oil at home. How about I massage them for you?" The girl in my arms finally stirred and looked up at me. "A massage?" I nodded. "Yes. Do your feet not hurt? I will get it, and pour you a glass of water while I am at it. Then massage your feet, okay?" Mi Cai tilted her head and studied me for a while. Then she nodded. She obediently sat on the edge of the bed. After leaving the bedroom, I washed my face first. Then I took out my phone and had someone deliver hangover medicine. I went to the kitchen and made a cup of honey water. As I passed the living room, I hesitated for a second. But in the end, beneath the television stand, I found a small bottle of massage oil. When I came back carrying everything, Mi Cai was still sitting obediently on the bed's edge. Hearing me, she looked up. She gave me a sweet smile. "You are back. Have some water first." I handed her the honey water. Mi Cai took the cup from me. Then she obediently sipped from it. After gulping down nearly half the cup, she looked up at me. She drew back slightly. "I want to take a shower. You just drank alcohol. You should not shower yet." I looked up at her. She pressed her lips together as she looked at me, then softly said, "Then I want to wash my feet. I have been walking all day." I suddenly laughed and stood up. "Okay, I will get you some water to wash your feet and bring you some slippers." Later, just as I had prepared the foot bath, my phone rang. The delivery had arrived. I poured a glass of warm water in the kitchen before returning to the bedroom. Mi Cai was lowering her head, about to dry her feet. I called out, "Do not move." Mi Cai stayed bent over. She looked up at me in confusion. I walked over and took the towel from her hand. "I will do it." Her face reddened. Embarrassed, she looked away. After drying one foot, I dried the other one too. Then I watched her put her feet on the bed. "I will massage them when I get back with the water." Mi Cai obediently put her feet up. Then she hugged her legs and waited obediently for me. The moment I left the bathroom, I saw a pair of beautiful legs. They were pale, long, and slender. Exactly the kind I liked best. I took a deep breath. I realized my situation was becoming difficult. The woman sitting on the bed was my girlfriend. A drunk one, at that. It was after 11 at night. She was waiting for me. Most importantly, she became especially clingy when drunk. My head began to ache. Why did a 21-year-old young man like me have to face something like this? I stood there and sighed. Mi Cai, sitting blankly on the bed, looked over and beckoned me. Come here. I am waiting for you. As she spoke, she raised her hand. She was holding the massage oil. I took a deep breath. How about we do the massage another time? Are you not tired? Mi Cai froze for a moment. Then she pouted. Why are you being like this? My feet hurt. I took another deep breath. I looked at the massage oil she held out to me. Then I will massage them for a while. Then I muttered quietly. I hope you do not regret this when you wake up. Of course, I said it very quietly. Naturally, Mi Cai did not hear me. I reached out and took the bottle from her. Mi Cai patted the bed beside her. Come up here. I took off my shoes and sat beside her. Sitting at the edge of the bed would have been more convenient. Still, everyone has their own little selfish motives, don't they? I lowered my eyes and opened the bottle. A faint medicinal scent drifted out. I had only ever massaged my own wrist before. There was not much technique to it, really. The moment I spoke, I realized there was something off about my voice. I coughed lightly a few times. So, if you feel uncomfortable, tell me. Before I could react, Mi Cai had practically leaned herself across my lap. Her clothes fell downward in that position, revealing a stretch of pale skin. Black lace. So big. No. So white. I quickly looked away and touched my nose. Wait, I need to use the bathroom. I thought I could stay in there for a while and come back out, but I could not get that image out of my mind. Tonight had been far too stimulating. Yenmo, can you keep it together? I even considered taking a cold shower, but Mi Cai was still outside waiting for me. In the end, I filled the basin with cold water. I shut my eyes and plunged my face into it. The moment I left the bathroom, I saw Mi Cai lying motionless on the bed. I froze, then hurried over, only to find that she had fallen asleep on her stomach. I stood by the bed for a moment, emotions tangled, then bent down and lifted Mi Cai up. Carefully, I settled her properly in the middle of the bed. She was like a little kitten, so adorable. I sat beside the bed and watched her for a long while. Finally, I leaned down and kissed her cheek. Good night, I whispered. Then I took my phone and left the bedroom. After a shower, I lay down on the sofa. I stayed there until nearly dawn. Mi Cai woke up after 9 that morning. Once awake, memories of the night before came crashing back. She covered her face with her hands. She had not expected half a glass of fruit wine to hit so hard. Nor had she known her tolerance was so low. Least of all had she expected drunk Mi Cai to be so bold. She had completely let her true self loose. Mi Cai's face turned even redder. She walked out of the bedroom. At once, she saw me lying on the sofa. Mi Cai quietly walked over. I was still asleep. She crouched before the sofa and watched me for a while. She reached out and lightly touched my nose. You really are so gentle. You are awake. My voice suddenly rang out. I reached out and caught the fingers she had used to poke at my nose before she could pull it back. Then I gently kissed it. Waking up and seeing you first thing feels really wonderful. I smiled. What is it? Embarrassed because you got caught staring at your boyfriend? She opened her mouth, at a loss. Why you are awake? Still holding her hand, I sat up. Of course I am awake. How else would I know you were secretly looking at me? You are so nervous. Your face is all red. I watched the colors slowly rise in her face. I did not let go of her hand. With my other hand, I tapped her cheek. Do you remember getting drunk last night? I do not remember. Without a second thought, Mi Cai denied it. My grip on her wrist tightened slightly. Already crouching, Mi Cai fell right into my arms. The position left her kneeling between my legs, her upper body pressed against my thighs. The sensation was impossible to ignore. She knelt before me. Her cheeks were still flushed. She gently bit her lip. My mind exploded in an instant. I pushed her down onto the sofa. Our heated bodies pressed tightly together. Our hearts seemed to pound fiercely in sync. Mi Cai grew a little uneasy when my hand slipped beneath the hem of her shirt and rested against her waist. Mi Cai could not help but flinch. Then she nervously closed her eyes. But what she expected to happen next never came. The body pressing her down moved away. She opened her eyes in confusion. I was already sitting on the carpet. I looked completely drained. I'll get you some water. With that, I started toward the kitchen. But just then, from behind me came her hesitant voice. Aren't we continuing? I scrubbed a hand hard over my face. Continue what? Mi Cai sat up from the sofa. Her lips were still slightly swollen and red. Watching my back, she softly said, what we were doing just now. Doesn't it hurt, holding it in like that? How could it not? I am afraid that if I do not deal with it soon, something might actually go wrong with me. I glanced sideways at Mi Cai. Do not overthink it. I'll get you some water. Then I went into the kitchen. At the fridge, I grabbed a bottle of ice water. I gulped down more than half of it. At last, my body began to cool down a little. Suddenly, a pair of soft, pale hands reached out behind me and gently wrapped around my waist. You're so good to me. Her voice was full of tenderness. I gave a soft laugh. I reached back and stroked her arm. I'll treat you even better from now on. So, do not keep pressing yourself against me. Holding back takes willpower, after all. If I keep holding back, I do not know whether it will still work later. There was a note of helplessness in my voice. Behind me, Mi Cai's lips curved into a smile. I turned to her and raised an eyebrow. Why not try it right here? Her face flushed as she picked up the ice water I had set aside. Before I could stop her, she chugged it. Then she flung open the door and ran off. I walked over and opened the door. Sure enough, she stood outside, blushing and conflicted. I reached out and smoothed her slightly messy hair. Good, how so? All right, go on back. Mi Cai's eyes lit up. A smile touched her lips. I'll call you when breakfast is ready. I released her and watched her. Mi Cai happily agreed. She looked up at me. Her thoughts were a complete mess. And naturally, she was embarrassed too. Only after she went inside and shut her door did I close mine. I leaned against it and thought for 3 seconds. Then I went into the bathroom and gave myself a little reward. By the time I came out of the bathroom, more than half an hour had passed. I went into the kitchen and looked through the refrigerator. I decided to make some congee. Mi Cai had been drinking last night. Congee should help her feel better. Neither Mi Cai nor I had classes today. I could make some pastries too. After eating at this hour, we probably would not manage lunch. About half an hour later, someone knocked on the door. With a smile, I set down the pastries I had just steamed. Mi Cai stood at the door, holding Dan Huang. She had changed into loungewear. The ends of her hair still looked slightly damp. I reached out and gently ushered Mi Cai inside. Then I turned back to the kitchen. Mi Cai blinked, watching my retreating back as I entered the kitchen. She smiled until her eyes curved into crescents. After we finished the congee, Mi Cai had eaten a little too much. She felt like she had even grown a little belly. She stood up, slightly annoyed with herself. She stopped me from clearing the table. Let me do it. I can get some exercise while I am at it. I watched her wash the dishes and put them in the sterilizing cabinet. Then she suddenly turned and asked, how much is your rent each month? My heart stirred as I looked at her profile. Why? 5,500 yuan a month. To Mi Cai, that rent, for someone like me who was still a student, was far too heavy a burden. Standing there, she looked at me and quietly asked, how about you move in and live with me? Aren't we dating? I bought my place. There is no rent to pay. I looked at Mi Cai, awkwardly trying to explain herself. Something raced through my heart. I suddenly smiled. I reached out and touched her cheek. All right, I know what you mean. I said softly. You're worried I cannot afford it. Mi Cai fell silent. For a moment, she did not know what to say. After hesitating, she said, no, I just want to live with you. The moment she said it, her face reddened. Her gaze drifted away. That is not exactly what I meant either. Oh, forget it. Anyway, never mind. That is what I mean, all right. Her eyes were full of hope. So, will you live with me? Looking at the girl before me, I finally sighed. But I already paid a year's rent up front. Wouldn't moving now be a waste? I suddenly leaned closer and kissed her lips. Maybe we can stay over at each other's places. Mi Cai's face instantly turned scarlet. I did not mean that either. Her eyes flickered, and she could not meet my gaze. She could barely even speak smoothly. Then she suddenly thought of something. She pulled out her phone. What was that fruit wine you drank last night? Let's buy some to keep at home. Mi Cai quickly reached out and covered my phone. She stammered. Buy what? Thinking of last night. Her face began burning again. She had only taken a few sips. Yet she had become like that last night. Blinking, she earnestly explained. So, we really should not keep that stuff at home. I do not even like it. And you cannot handle alcohol either, right? She secretly glanced at me. There was no change in my expression. I only smiled and said, "We can buy some and keep it. Having a sip now and then is fine." As I spoke, I gave her cheek a gentle squeeze. Then I placed my phone in her hand. It was open to Taobao. "Pick whichever ones you like." Without looking at her, I turned and went to get her some water. Mi Cai was left on the sofa, red to the tips of her ears. Pressing her lips together, she studied the page seriously. She picked several flavors she liked. This one really is 6%, not 16%. She did not know whether it could get her drunk. Though if it could not, she could always pretend. Mi Cai smacked herself on the head. What am I even thinking? Just then, a WeChat message popped up. The contact name was Dang Li. She was a girl from my class. Her message came with an accusatory tone. "Yun Mo, what is wrong with you? What did you do to Ruyan last night?" She cried all night. Mi Cai accidentally saw the message and felt a little awkward. She looked toward the kitchen. "Yun Mo, someone just messaged you on WeChat." I responded, "Do not worry about it." Mi Cai gave a quiet acknowledgement, but staring at the screen, she no longer felt like picking wine. When I came out carrying lemon water, I saw my phone had been placed on the table. Mi Cai sat on the sofa, seemingly lost in thought. "Have you picked some?" I asked her. "If you like juice or any other drinks, tell me. I'll buy some to keep here." Mi Cai shook her head. She looked at me, as if she wanted to say something but held back. I noticed my phone on the table. "What is it? Who messaged me just now?" I picked up my phone and checked it. I immediately blocked her. Looking at Mi Cai, "Is there anything else you want to ask?" Mi Cai seemed to relax a little. "I just remember you said you were home all night, and only left after getting my message to pick me up. But it seems you also met with Liu Ruyan. I know she likes you too, and I like you too. We are dating. So it bothers me a little that, at night, you were still with another girl." I reached out and stroked her hair. Then I roughly explained what happened last night. I had no idea she was so obsessive that she would wait outside my apartment complex. As for how she got home last night, or how she ended up crying, I truly do not know. And I do not want to know. Mi Cai was a little stunned after hearing that. "She has liked you since high school." That is what she said. But I do not really remember her. I told her honestly. Mi Cai nodded, frowning. "She will not keep following you, will she?" "I do not know. If she does, I will call the police." I sighed. Mi Cai looked so worried that I found it a little amusing. "All right, do not worry. I made myself very clear last night. I did not tell her we are together, because I was afraid she would harass you. I think after this semester ends, Liu Ruyan should leave the school. Then this should all be over." The two of us spent a lovey-dovey morning at home. Though Mi Cai had no classes all day, she had a meeting that afternoon. She gave me a set of keys to her home. "Keep an eye on egg yolk for me." With that, she shoved both the keys and the cat into my hands, then turned and ran off. Before I could say anything, the door had already shut. Holding egg yolk, I picked up my phone. I sent Mi Cai a message. "I will take you there later." Knowing what Liu Ruyan had done last night, Mi Cai thought it would be best if I went out less. But when she opened the door, I was already waiting outside. "Let's go." Saying that, I took her hand. As we reached the school gates, we saw Liu Ruyan getting out of a taxi. She looked unwell, and her eyes were red and swollen. She had cried for a long time after going home last night. Now, her gaze fixed on Mi Cai. Watching our retreating backs, she lowered her head and sighed. After taking Mi Cai to her meeting, I went to the basketball court and played for a while. That evening, Mi Cai was waiting for me beside the court. We had a class reunion dinner that night, so we planned to go home, shower, change, then head over. I took her hand and we walked home. Soon, we reached her door. I rubbed her head helplessly. "You need to change and take a shower too. You smell sweaty from rubbing against me." Still, Mi Cai opened her arms and hugged me, murmuring, "We are going to shower anyway. One more hug will not hurt. Then I may as well hold you while you shower." I said in a low voice. "That is what you call getting your money's worth." That sent her fleeing in embarrassment. I clicked my tongue at the closed door. That was hardly anything. And she is already embarrassed. With a sigh, I turned and went inside. The moment I shut the door, my desk mate called. "Did you check the class group chat?" "What is it?" "I just got home," I replied. "Is everyone not talking about having a reunion in the group? Liu Ruyan said she is coming too." I frowned. Then I hung up. It inevitably put me in an irritated mood. Liu Ruyan was like a ghost that would not leave me alone. She was really getting under my skin. After showering, I felt a little better. After waiting a while, I left with Mi Cai. As we headed out, I still told her Ruyan would be going too. We would see her soon anyway. Sit beside me later. There's definitely something wrong with that girl. But after saying that, I felt having her sit beside me might be even more dangerous. Yet I would not feel at ease if Mi Cai did not sit with me. I clicked my tongue. Mi Cai found my reaction amusing. What are you afraid of? She does not even know we are together. I will sit with those younger girls. I sighed. I would not be scared if it were just me. I am afraid she might hurt you on impulse. By the time we reached the hot pot restaurant, quite a few people had arrived. We found seats and had just sat down. When Ruyan walked in, she greeted Mi Cai. Mi Cai returned the greeting politely. Ruyan pulled her gaze away from me. Her face was pale, but she still forced a smile. She glanced at the filled seats and asked hesitantly, Teacher Mi, may I sit here? Before Mi Cai could speak, I spoke first. No, this side is full. There are plenty of empty seats over there. But Ruyan looked at Mi Cai, waiting for her answer. Mi Cai showed no reaction and simply smiled. These younger girls came to watch the basketball game this afternoon. They do not know the other students in the class. So, why do you not sit beside them? But Ruyan suddenly said, The younger girls do not have to sit beside you. Why do you not give your seat to me? Teacher Mi. The moment she said that, everyone nearby looked stunned, including Mi Cai. I was already frowning, but my deskmate beside me grabbed my hand. Then he spoke up. Are you here to start trouble? Ruyan did not answer them. She only looked at Mi Cai before her. So many people like Mi Cai. What if I like her too? Ruyan knew she was not acting right, but she simply could not accept me liking someone else. I suddenly stood up. My deskmate stood up too. He was afraid I would walk over and slap Ruyan, but I did not. I only glanced at Mi Cai and said, You want to sit here, right? You can have my seat. My deskmate rolled his eyes. Yun Mo, I will come with you. Teacher Mi, come with us. What a lunatic. She is ruining my appetite. From the moment I stood, one harsh remark after another reached Ruyan's ears. Ruyan suddenly felt lost. She looked at the familiar classmates around her. Just as she tried to speak, tears fell instead. A beautiful, slender hand offered her a tissue. It is all right. If you want to sit here, I will sit with you. They probably just finished playing basketball, so they were a little harsh. Ruyan looked up and saw Mi Cai. Her beautiful face filled with gentle reassurance. Mi Cai gave a helpless smile. The pale girl before her looked truly heartbreaking. She stood and took Ruyan aside to sit down. Do not keep standing. Your ankle is still injured. At those words, Ruyan's tears spilled over. From being rejected after stopping me outside the apartment complex, to seeing Mi Cai before her now, all the hurt she had been suppressing suddenly burst out. She choked out, Teacher Mi, is it really wrong to love someone? Am I really crazy? Mi Cai was stunned for a moment by her tears and question. Then she heard Ruyan ask, May I hug you? Mi Cai reached out and embraced her. She felt Ruyan's tears fall onto her. There is no real right or wrong in love, but everyone has their own preferences. Not every love you give will be returned. Mi Cai sighed softly. Ruyan, I do not think I am in any position to advise you, because I may be the person you hate most. She sounded rather helpless. But then Ruyan softly said, If it is you, Teacher Mi, I do not think I can hate you. You are a truly wonderful person. For a moment, Mi Cai did not know what to say. Ruyan only knew one thing. When everyone else avoided her, only Mi Cai had gently taken her hand. That one small gesture made it impossible for her to hate the girl before her. She truly deserved to be loved by so many people. The boys felt rather awkward too. The boy who had called crazy looked embarrassed. He sat down on Ruyan's other side. Ruyan, I am sorry. I was just mouthing off. I didn't mean anything by it. The two had already released each other. Ruyan accepted the tissue Mi Cai offered and smiled. It is all right. Maybe I was too extreme before. I will not be like that again. The boys sighed in relief. My deskmate relaxed too. He joked, Exactly. Take a look at us instead. We are all single. There are plenty more fish in the sea. Ruyan suddenly felt as though a weight had lifted from her heart. That is right. There are plenty more fish in the sea. Why put myself through this? Her smile brightened. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, senior. Mi Cai reached out and stroked her hair. No need to thank me. Do not be sad anymore. It does not look pretty on you. Ruyan smiled and nodded. From across the room, I kept watching their table. Only when I saw nothing was wrong did I relax slightly. Then I stood and shouted, "Is everyone here? Let us eat." The crowd quickly erupted into laughter and chatter. The hot pot dinner was incredibly lively. Only I remained somewhat distracted. My gaze kept drifting to Mi Cai's table. At that moment, one of the boys was pestering Mi Cai to drink with him. Mi Cai looked helpless. "I really cannot drink." Ruyan suddenly stood up beside her. "If you want to drink, drink with me." Ruyan stared at the man, clearly looking for an excuse to make a drunken scene. "What glass should we use? Drink straight from the bottle. If not, chug one yourself. Do you dare?" Old Wu looked at Ruyan with some hesitation. My deskmate hurriedly intervened. "Why drink alcohol? Have a soft drink. No more drinking. Ruyan, sit down too." I watched Ruyan smile at Mi Cai. Something about it felt off. By the time we finished hot pot, it was nearly 9 that night. Near the end, Ruyan came over to me. "I am sorry about everything before. I know feelings are hard to control. It is true that I loved you for all those years, but I also caused you a lot of trouble. I am very sorry. It will not happen again." I nodded. "I hope you soon meet someone worth loving. I am not such a great person." Uncontrollable sadness filled Ruyan's eyes. After all, how could she stop loving me just because she said she would? All those years of feelings had been real. Yet at that moment, she still composed herself and offered a less than bright smile. "I hope you and the person you love will be happy together." After saying that, she turned away. She could not help raising a hand to wipe her eyes. "Goodbye, senior," she said to Mi Cai. "I still need to thank you for today." But Mi Cai smiled at her and said, "You have said that many times tonight. Be safe on your way home." After everyone had left, Mi Cai turned to me. "Shall we go home?" I murmured agreement, walked over, and took her hand. Seeing that I seemed downcast, Mi Cai could not help asking, "What is wrong? You seem unhappy." I thought about it. It seems Ruyan has suddenly let it go, and she seems to have figured out our relationship, but she does not seem to mind anymore. I sighed, "But I feel like she likes you a lot more now. She stayed by your side all night. She even went to the restroom with you." Mi Cai found that amusing. "Was her ankle not injured?" I went with her. She blinked as she said it. "Are you jealous?" An excited smile spread across Mi Cai's face, as if she had discovered something fascinating. She stopped, stared at me, and repeated herself, "You are jealous, are you not?" I clicked my tongue and pulled her closer. "Watch where you are going." Then I kept walking. Mi Cai followed behind me, laughing. "Not denying it means you admit it. Were you jealous? But Ruyan is a girl." I quickened my pace. "We are going home." Mi Cai skipped happily behind me all the way, until we reached the door. Suddenly I pinned her against the wall beside us. "Is this you pinning me against the wall?" Mi Cai smiled until her bright eyes narrowed into crescents. Her voice was full of excitement. I reached up and caressed her face, gently brushing aside a stray lock of hair. "Did you not just ask if I was jealous?" "I was jealous." Then I pressed my lips to hers without hesitation. Mi Cai's cheeks were flushed, her eyes closed. The more she looked like that, the less I could control myself. She was so obedient. I only wanted to have my way with her even more. But we were in the hallway. I felt a little regretful. I should have waited until we got home. If I had held back a little longer, I would not have had to stop so painfully now. My breathing was ragged as I let out a soft sigh. "Why are you so obedient?" "Because it is you, Yunmo. You are my boyfriend." As she spoke, she looked at me with wide, glistening eyes. I closed my eyes briefly. I was done for. I wanted to do something even more reckless. Looking down at her crimson face and those misty eyes, I murmured, "A girl who's too obedient is bound to be taken advantage of." With that, I took her hand and led her inside. Mi Cai obediently followed behind me. "Your place or mine?" I was not planning to leave her. I wanted to be all lovey-dovey with my girlfriend. Mi Cai gave a quiet hum. "Either is fine. Yolk is at my place." So I opened my door without hesitation. The moment I pushed it open, I heard Mi Cai ask softly, "Then why are you not taking advantage of me?" My hand froze on the door. I turned to look at Mi Cai, whose face was bright red. With a soft laugh, I pulled her inside. Then I shut the door behind us. Mi Cai looked up at me cautiously and swallowed. What is it? You want me to take advantage of you?" I moved closer. She felt that if she spoke, her lips would brush against mine. Her lashes trembled gently as though she were afraid. Yet she still gave a soft hum of agreement. I heard it clearly, and I saw it clearly too. But I did not move. I only stared straight at her. I watched her face grow redder and redder. She looked embarrassed and flustered. Mi Cai tried to push me away and whispered. I was joking, but I took it seriously. As I said that, I caught her wrist. I cannot hold back anymore, Mi Cai. We began kissing in the entryway. In the end, I simply lifted her into my arms. I carried her straight into the bathroom, then gently set her on the vanity. Both of us were breathing hard. Mi Cai's voice trembled. We're not going to the bedroom. If we go into the bedroom, I might lose control, I murmured. I looked at our reflections in the mirror. I kissed her collarbone. Pinned against the vanity, the girl shuddered. I have always wanted to see your legs wrapped around my waist. My kisses moved lower. My voice was soft. It must look beautiful. Mi Cai stared at the bright light overhead. A hand gently turned her face to the side. Her gaze fell on the reflection in the mirror. A flush instantly spread over her face and body. She tried to turn away, but the seemingly gentle hand held her face firmly in place. Mi Cai looked at me, and soon clothes lay scattered across the floor. This part has been cut. It cannot be shown. I picked her up. I will run you a bath in a moment. She buried her face in my shoulder. All her exposed skin was flushed. Looking closely, her legs were still trembling uncontrollably. When I set her on the bed, the girl on top of me did not dare climb off. I am dirty. Her voice was thick with tears. You are not dirty. I cleaned you up just now. I soothed her softly. It is okay. Mi Cai still did not dare look up at me. She had not expected that I, who seemed so refined, could be so domineering and aggressive in bed. And besides, it had lasted quite a while. Seeing Mi Cai's bashful expression, I gave a low laugh. Were you not the one who asked me to take advantage of you? I have barely done anything yet. And you call that barely anything? Mi Cai could not help protesting. You clearly did almost everything. I lowered my gaze to her reddened legs. It is my fault for lacking self-control, but I will still do it again next time. With that, I flashed her a row of white teeth. It looked bright and harmless, but Mi Cai saw something fierce in it. Next time might be even more excessive than this. Then I stood and patted Mi Cai's head. I went into the bathroom to run her a bath. I also picked up her skirt and underwear and left them soaking in a basin nearby. A gentle smile rested on my face. When I came out, Mi Cai was sitting obediently on the bed. A pillow lay across her lap, covering her private areas. She watched me emerge with pleading eyes. I walked over and opened my arms to her. Come here. I will carry you to the bath. I can go by myself. That was what she said, but she held out her arms for me to carry her. My eyes were full of amusement. I carried her into the bathroom. She suddenly said, You seem very strong. I looked down at her. I really am strong. We can see how long I can hold you. Mi Cai's face instantly turned red. Her already large eyes flew open as if she had been startled. I did not mean it that way. I mean it. There will be chances to try it in the future. I gestured for her to undress and get into the bath. Mi Cai now realized she seemed to have activated some strange switch inside me. Feeling uncomfortable, she stood where she was. She clutched her clothes and did not move. She looked at me helplessly. I smiled. I will use the other bathroom to rinse off. You enjoy your bath. Should I go get you some clothes? Mi Cai nodded. Bring Yolk over too, while you are at it. I agreed. I turned and took some clothes from the wardrobe. Then I went out to shower. When I entered, Yolk peeked around the corner at me. It happily came over and circled my feet. I crouched down and petted it. I need to get your mom some clothes first. Otherwise, your mom's clothes will be covered in cat hair. Yolk gave a good-natured meow. I went to the bedroom wardrobe and pulled it open. I reached in and took out a nightgown. I wondered where the cute lingerie she had bought earlier had gone. Then I spotted something at the very bottom of the wardrobe. Several small bags were tucked beneath the lowest shelf. One of them looked very familiar. It was the bag she had found after mistakenly opening the delivery to pack the lingerie in. It looked like she had glanced at them, then shoved them into the wardrobe to gather dust. I clicked my tongue, but it did not matter. There would be plenty of chances for her to wear them. After gathering her clothes, I was ready to leave. I turned to look for Yolk, only to find Yolk standing on the nightstand, pawing at a cat teaser. I stared at the teaser in surprise. Had I not given that to Mi Cai before? A faint smile touched my lips as I watched it paw at the toy. Then I watched it kick with the hind leg, knocking something beside it over. Crash! The sound of shattering glass was unmistakable. I looked at the photo frame on the floor with a headache coming on. You broke your sister's photo frame. The glass had shattered badly. When I picked it up, I could not even make out the picture. All I could see were cracks spidering across it. Still, the photo seemed strangely familiar. Finally, I carried the frame out and found a trash bag. Then I carefully put the shards inside. As the broken glass fell away, the photo beneath was revealed in full. My eyes widened slightly as I stared at the photo in my hand. For once, I did not know what to do. There were two girls in the picture. Two girls I knew very well. This photo. I have one too. My hands began to tremble. I gently traced the two girls in the photo. How could it be here? Mi Cai. But her name clearly was not Mi Cai. For the first time, I understood what it meant to feel completely at a loss. For the first time, my expression slipped out of control. In the end, only confusion remained. A half smile appeared on my face. Then overwhelming joy surged through me. Just then, my phone began to vibrate. I glanced at it. Sure enough, it was Mi Cai calling. I looked at the photo in my hand and took a deep breath. Still haven't found my clothes. Mi Cai's voice came through the phone. She sounded a little annoyed. My skin is about to wrinkle. I found them. I am coming back now. My voice was low. Yolk accidentally broke the photo frame on your nightstand. I will bring the photo over for you to look at. Okay. I'll take a shower, Mi Cai said. I looked at the photo in my hand once more. Carefully, I placed it in the bag with her clothes. Then I found Yolk, picked it up, and headed back. When I got home, I immediately opened my nightstand drawer. There was a photo frame inside. The photo in it was identical to the one I had found at Mi Cai's place. Through the glass, I touched the little girl on the left. You were so skinny as a child. I did not recognize you at all. Mi Cai's voice came from the bathroom. Yenmo, are you back? Pass me my clothes. I answered and took the clothes, then lightly knocked at the bathroom door. The door opened a crack. A fair, delicate arm reached out. I immediately placed the clothes in her hand. After one last look at the photo frame on the bed, I turned and walked into the kitchen. My heart was beating fast. It had been a long time since I had felt this nervous. I took out a bottle of ice water and swallowed a large mouthful. Silently, I began counting down. She should be out of the bathroom by now. Then she would walk to the bed and see the photo frame on it. Mi Cai had indeed just come out of the bathroom. Drying her hair, she walked toward the bed. As soon as she reached the bed, she saw a photo frame beside it. Mi Cai froze for a moment, then picked it up. Had Yenmo found a spare frame at home and put the photo in it for her? She could not help smiling as she reached out to touch the two little girls in the photo. But suddenly, the smile on her lips froze. She stared at the creased corner of the photo. This photo was not hers. Confusion flashed in Mi Cai's eyes. There had only ever been two copies of this photo. One was with her, and the other was with. She looked at the girl standing beside her in the photo. Her features were beautiful and painfully familiar. Mi Cai gripped the frame tightly. After another glance, she turned and left the bedroom. Her gaze settled on the tall, slender figure in the kitchen. Suddenly, she did not know how to say the words on the tip of her tongue. But he must already know, right? In the end, she remained where she was and softly asked, Yenmo,